Welcome again to Wheels. Tonight, a return visit to Vauxhall Stadium, Ipswich, for a variety of oval track racing, with the competitors who are on speed, high speed and fierce competition in the many formats of stock car racing. We should be travelling in style, if not in comfort, with a world champion from Ireland who has a special feeling for this Ipswich track. But we should be keeping our distance when the Superstox are let loose in a few wild manoeuvres. And then there'll be a final fling for those objects we all know and love and get stuck behind, the caravans. A Bangor caravan race which will bring a new meaning to the idea of an emotional breakup. And in between the action, Keith Hewan will be nosing about the pits.
Later on, I'll be looking at the two ends of the financial and technological spectrum of oval track racing. At the expensive end are the national hot rods, Kevlar panels, racing tyres and suspension, together with fully race-tuned hand-built engines. These cars are capable of lapping the quarter-mile Ipswich track in around 14 seconds. At the bargain basement end of it is the 1300 stock cars. And these are the crash it, smash it and fix it brigade. And they're becoming almost too popular for their own good.
First, it's the hot rods, the 1600cc formula, which is one step up from stock rods, one step down from the national hot rods. It's usually a question of personal taste and cost. It's growing in popularity. There was recently a British Lions hot rod tour of South Africa. Dave Longhurst, contender here, is the British Lions captain. Other names in the frame, number 451, Dave Story from Beccles, certainly one of the local favourites in this class. 284, Steve Smith from Kent, is an ex-stock car champion, adapting well to this non-contact formula. He's second in the points championship at the moment. 217, Robert Perry from Dis, second in the recent European Championship, is carrying on a family tradition. But our money and our camera is on this lad from Portadown.
Well, David, only 3 years ago we saw you win the National Hot Rod World Championship in the here at Ipswich. So why are you in the 1600s now?
There is no national hot rods in Northern Ireland at the moment, and we just had to go this year if we're going to go racing.
Are you enjoying it?
Not until I've come here. I just love this track.
What are the big differences then between the Nationals and the 1600s?
Engine and tyres, that's it.
And presumably speed?
Speed, grip, yeah.
So what kind of race can we see from you today?
I think, depending on grid position here, I think I'll give your wee camera here someone to see anyway.
And the 1600cc hot rods get underway. Not quite as much oomph as the national hot rods, but nevertheless a lot of power, a lot of performance, and usually some competitive racing. Jerry Evans into the lead in number 40. Round the top bend he comes, number 30 in second place. 23 is close behind in third, then 36 and then 451, followed by 38 and 544, 27 and 168. That's the order as they come flashing past our camera position there at something like 70 miles an hour. Jerry Evans with about 20 yards on number 30, Chris Hughes. And here we are riding live with Davy McCall in the 942 car, the 1990 National Hot Rod World Champion. Fighting his way at the back of the field, trying desperately to pick his way through that sort of mass of cars. Right on the bumper of the 544 Brian Hawes car. He's got a lot to do because he's quite a long way back. He's moving out wide now to look for a chance to try and go by down the outside, but as you can see, it's just as congested down there. Back up front, things are happening. 40 is now being challenged very strongly on the outside by the number 30 car of Chris Hughes. Tries to take him round on the outside, hadn't got quite enough, and so it's still 40 who holds on as they come now into this next bend, and we've got 4 of them really battling it out together now. We've got 40 on the inside, and that's Jerry Evans, and a fast run down the outside from the 30 car of Chris Hughes takes him up into the lead. And trying to follow him right around on the outside is 451 Dave Story, and he goes up to second. 23 is tucked in behind, that's Alan Dent Jr. So it's 30, 451, 40, and 27 has come to join them now, Kevin Randall. So all this group of cars are all battling for places together. 30 is the leader, 451 is second, then 23 on the outside. Then 40, then 94 is in there with them as well now. He's just come through, Robin Pickett. These are the first two, 30 and 451. 94, who was up there battling, has just spun out further back, Robin Pickett, and somebody's hit the fence. That's the 30 car. He's gone. The front wheel of that has bashed the outside wall, and that's the end of the race, I'm afraid, for Chris Hughes from Haywards Heath. Luckily, he's going to be able to pull off quite easily, but it's Dave Story in 451 now from Alan Dent in 23. We've just got this replay now. We can see exactly what happened here. 451, Dave Story. Was he pushing? That must be the big question here. Certainly 30 seemed to be going much faster than he wanted to, and that's how he finished up hard against that wall. Meanwhile, back up front, we've got 451, Dave Story, is now comfortably in that lead. Let's just see how much he's got. He's got about 3 or 4 yards, in fact, on Alan Dent in 23. The number 40 car of Jerry Evans has just been black flagged. We don't quite know what for, but he's out. So it's 451 from 23. Davy McCall has now gone third in 942. 27 is there. Kevin Randall is in the 4th place. 13 laps have gone. 451, 23, 942 and 27. That's the order. It's all happening in this one. No question about that. And 451, Dave Story is going very well, and we've got a real battle on our hands now for the 2nd place. It's 23 on the inside, and it's 4-5. It's Davy McCall trying to go wide on the outside. Here they come. This is where the fight is, these three. Here we are riding with Davy McCall inside the car, trying to see as he goes past the outside there, trying to get past some of these other cars. He's trying it around on the outside. He's got the longer way to go round. There he is, up rather wide as he comes out, but that's enough to take him past Alan Dent and take him up into 2nd place. So it's 451 now from 942 and 23 and 27 and 217. Now Rob Perry is coming to join them. So this, we really have got a race on our hands this time. As we look at the lap sheet, 17 laps have gone. It's 451 from 942, 23, 27 and 217. Here's Dave Story. There's Davy McCall on the left of those two there. The next one is a back marker. This is the battle now for the lead. Who's going to come off best here, Dave Story or the Irishman?
Very difficult to say, because my money would be on McCall to outrun David Story normally, but if David Story is in the mood to indulge in a little bit of contact, which it certainly looked like he did earlier on, he won't make life easy for the Irishman.
He's certainly not making it easy as they go down the back straight there. He's trying to get around on the outside, and that's a long way round there, and Dave Story is going to drift out a little and take him towards the fence, and he does, as they go flashing down that straight. But the Irishman is ahead. The Irishman is moving ahead, and 942 is into the lead. Superb driving by Davy McCall. Takes it up now from 451, right on the 21 lap marker. So 942 is the leader. 451 is in 2nd place. 27 is 3rd, then a gap to 23, and we've now got a battle developing further back between 23 and 217. Rob Perry is trying to get past, and the smoke is coming from the 942 car. Davy McCall is in trouble, I think. I think there's trouble. 23 has just further back out of the picture. 23 has got stuck in the middle of the track. That might cause a stoppage, but there's definitely smoke coming from the back of 942, and indeed the race unfortunately is going to have to be stopped, because we've got a car sitting right in the middle of the track down here. The stewards frantically waving the cars aside so that they don't run into the 23 car.
Well, Chris, there was a suggestion of some contact there. What's your view?
I think somebody, I'm not sure who, somebody behind me forgot what the middle pedal was for, because I braked and they didn't even come off, and they just pushed me all the way to the wall, and that's me out of the race.
And you were leading at the time, of course.
Yeah, and very comfortable, you know. They still not as quick as a lot of them, but they've got to go around me on the outside. They can't come through like they did there, otherwise it takes me out.
Well, Dave, a quick word before you restart. We can see a bit of smoke coming out of the back of the car.
The wheel arches come in again the wheel here, but the scrutineer won't let me get out and fix it. I see a lot of Englishmen behind me here have done it, but this is the way we are treated when we come here. Like,
is it going to give you a few problems now, then?
It's possibly will, like, and something has happened to the ignition here, she won't start, so we're just hoping when we get a push she'll go.
And hope it carries on to the end.
Hope it carries on. There's only 8 laps, so fingers crossed.
Well, we've certainly got controversy all the way down the line, because we saw on the replay earlier on the number 30 car of Chris Hughes heading towards the safety fence with 451 Dave Story tucked in very closely behind him, and Chris Hughes wasn't too happy about that. And as I suspected, it's bodywork rubbing on the tyre of the Davy McCall car, and he's now complaining that other drivers have been allowed to pull the bodywork away, and he hasn't. So controversy there. Let's see whether that is going to cause him a problem to that tyre when he corners and it leans on that side, or when he accelerates it certainly seems to cause a little puff of smoke. So let's see what happens. 9:42, Davy McCall then is in the lead. 451, Dave Story is second. 27, Kevin Randall is third, as we run now for the remaining 7 laps of this event. Here we come then, 9:42 from 451 and 27. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there's that smoke coming from that wheel again. Just as he accelerates, I think the back end probably sits down a little bit, and that's what causes it. I don't know how much of that kind of tyre is going to take.
The problem is that the actual rubbing in itself isn't so much of a problem for handling of the car, but what can happen is that the rubbing causes an already hot racing tyre to go off. When they talk about going off, they get so hot they stop working. They either blister or they just don't grip anymore. Fortunately, he hasn't got that many laps to go.
Right, and let's look now. There's a real scrap here in second place. Davy McCall is clear. These are the two we've got to watch, because just now we have got the 27 car was on the inside of the track, and 451 Dave Story was on the outside, and Dave really shut the door on 27 as they went down the straight. So there's a lot of strong competition between these two for the second place. Davy McCall is pretty clear, and unless that tyre blows, I can't really see the others catching him. Here's the leader, he's clear. And here's the second place scrap between those two. Now, 27 tries it on the inside, but Dave Story's not going to let him through. Laps ticking away. There's 2 more laps to go now. Here comes 27 once again. Trying to get through the gap, but the gap isn't there. So there we are, 451 and 27 still battling away inside the final lap, these two. Here's the man who's in the lead and is going to take the checkered flag, and as they come off the line, the scrap for the second place is going to be between 451 and 27, but Dave Story holds on. 27 can't get through, so it's a fine win for Dave McCall in the 942 car. The second place goes to 451 Dave Story, and third is number 27, Kevin Randall.
Davey, well done. The tyre held out.
It did, thank goodness it did, yeah.
It's been a good trip for you, Irish.
Not too bad. Norman, he got the big one, and this here's a bonus.
If we could just cast our minds back to the original start of the race, you were a little bit back down on the grid, so you had quite a bit of work to do.
A fair wee bit, but that's the enjoyment of it. Like, that's where to win from, as far back as possible.
And not a bad substitute for the National Hot Rods, then?
No, not after this, no. We might even change our mind.
Well, Dave, got to break some bad news to you. You've been penalised for bumping there and knocked down from second to third. Your view on that?
What actually happened is a friend of Kevin here, he was actually coming down the outside. I've been watching from probably the last sort of 20 laps. And next thing I know, I felt a touch on this rear quarter when he tried to come up the inside of me. And obviously he went on the cobbles here, then obviously they got across me for that. Then
any complaints then?
Well, that's one of them things, isn't it? That's racing.
To be fair, you've been putting it about because there's a feeling there was a bit of contact earlier on when car number 30 was in the lead.
Yeah, well, no more than anybody else is dishing out at the present, as you can see. That's everywhere damage.
So you're saying you're not the bad guy?
All the love taps, isn't it? Name of the game.
No real complaints then?
No, it's hot rodding, isn't it? It's good fun.
So there are the final placings in this Hot Rods Anglia Television Wheels Championship. Once again, a respectable sprinkling of local names in there. Luton, Beccles, Stevenage. But the big prize goes to Northern Ireland, to David McCall from Portadown, receiving the 1993 trophy from our man Keith Ewan, that master of chat. But we shall be getting him to do some proper work after the break. All life was here in the stock car world, where on the small stage of the oval track, the principles are you've got to be able to look after yourself. In competition, it's survival of the fittest and the quickest, but it doesn't stop you having a good time. And there is racing for every pocket. Keith Ewan has been looking at both ends of the range. The elite first, the national hot rods, and talking to Steve Skidmore from Attleborough.
It takes, on a full season that we've campaigned this year, from last year's World Final to this year's World Final, somewhere around £20,000 to run this car for a full competitive season to make sure that we can win the championship at the end of it.
And what about the experience, obviously, that you have setting up a car like this? Does it take a lot of setting up?
It takes a lot of setting up. Mainly the work that I do on the car is preparation and getting it ready in race readiness, tidy and looking clean and ready to go. But we've got the mechanic, Andre Patnos, at Regal Repairs, doing the technical side of setting the car up and getting it to go around corners. With this engine, we suffer with massive overheating in a race, and especially like today, which is very hot. So we have to put special tape on the exhaust pipe to stop the carburetors boiling, and then ram air through the front, through the pipes, to get a draft blowing through the carburetors.
So if it gets too hot, is that going to knock the power down on it, or what's it actually going to do to you?
If it goes over like 85 degrees, we lose something like 15 to 20 brake.
A major problem for you?
A very major problem.
Steve, aerodynamics for adjustment, a bit of wing on here as well. Tell us a bit about that.
We run the big wing on the back of the car to put as much downforce on the rear end as we can get in the rules that they'll let us do on the car. And this wing is as big as we can get it in the rules, and we run this one at full tilt.
And this changes from track to track, so you'd alter this classification different tracks?
Yeah, today here we run it as high as we can have it to get the most downforce in the dusty track conditions we have. But on some of the tracks, which are longer and faster than this, we need to drop it down to lessen the pressure to increase the speed.
And starting Marshal Dave Smith sends them on their way. There's a lot of power down there. These finely tuned, highly expensive cars hurtling around this little over quarter-mile oval. 43, Mark Skilton is the leader. 5:22, a real ding-dong of a battle here. 5 or 6 cars all competing for these places. 5:22. 31, Dick Hillard is out on the centre green, I can see. 283, Alan Goddard on the inside. 505 is on the outside. Oh, winners are coming together there very, very nearly. That's what happens when you get that many cars all stuffed in closely together there. 522 is second, 22 is third. Then I think it's 961, and we've got some others now beginning to fight their way through. 967 is there, 20's there, 505 is losing ground. Still 43, the clear leader from 522. 22 is next. 31 is not there, he's been in trouble. This is the leader, 43, Mark Skilton. He's now about 40 to 50 yards clear. This is the second man, 522, Mark Lizoski. And he's a long way clear of this bunch that are all pounding along looking for a place. 15 laps gone. This is the second place. And this is the group where it's all happening. 22 and 961 together. 961 now going right up around on the outside. Has to fall back, hasn't got the legs to get round. Trying it once again. 639, Ricky Hunn coming to join them as well now. Ricky Hunn pokes his nose up on the inside. 22 is holding this whole bunch up at the moment. 961 tries to go, and we got a red flag. We got a red flag. Trying to see quite why. But 22 is spun around and in the middle of the track, and that's the cause of the hold-up. Robert Montagna. Well, I was a little mystified as to exactly why the race had been stopped, because of the car 22 sitting in the middle of the track and apparently undamaged and able to drive off. But the answer is now clear, as the cement dust and the brushing clearly shows. There was oil on the track, and as they came into the bend, they hit the oil. 22, as you can see there, Robert Montagna finished up twiddling around beautifully to finish up in the middle of the track facing the oncoming traffic, and of course the going was far too dangerous and too slippery to continue. Hence the red flag, and a restart to come. Well, as they roll away for the restart, it's clear that it was the 950 Norman Woolsey engine blowing that deposited the oil on the track down there, where you can see that cement dust underneath the cars, that caused number 22, Robert Montagna, to spin and caused the whole thing, of course, to grind to a halt. So they're all lined up in a crocodile now, all in single file as per the lap sheet order, and the green flag is down, and we're running now for about another 15 laps. That was just over halfway through when that race was stopped. And the order, as before, is, of course, 43. Mark Skilton, the leader. 522 is in second place, Mark Lizoski. 22, Robert Montagna is third. 961 from Tipperary is Tom Casey, one of the Irish drivers as opposed to the Ulster drivers. So here's our leader. He's well clear. There's the second place man coming into the picture now, and just behind him there's the third. Now they're all in the places. 2, 3, 4, 5. Now Ricky Hunn on the outside there. He's obviously going to try very hard now, but he found that loose cement dust and that drifted him wide and lost him a bit of ground, but he's closing it back up again now, coming up behind 961. There we come. 22, Robert Montagna is the Stars and Stripes. 961 is Tom Casey. Oops, was that a nudge? Here comes Ricky Hunn on the outside of these three. Can't quite make it around the outside, but looking very hard for a chance. Is there going to be a chance around this bend? No. This is quite a scrap. Remember, this is third, fourth and fifth we're looking at the moment. 43 is well clear in the lead, and 522 is clear in second place. Those two are on their own and unchallenged at the moment as Robert Montagna takes it back. Ricky Hunn thought he'd got him there, but Robert Montagna on that 22 car managed to pull away, but Ricky Hunn's not done yet. He's coming back for another little bite. Ooh, back end twitches. He's trying very hard. Tom Casey's tucked right in behind in the Irish car. Still 43 and 522, they're there. We're not looking at them. They're a long way clear as Ricky Hunn tries it right around the outside this time, but he's got the legs on him now. Round he sweeps and shoots through up into third place. So it's now 43. Mark Skilton is the leader. 522 is in second place. Mark Lizoski. A long way back is this battle here. 967 from Ireland, 961 from Ireland. 22 is in front, trying to hold the pair of them off. We're in the final two laps. 43, 522 and 639 are clear. These are battling for fourth, fifth and sixth places. 77 is trying to move through. 129 is moving through. Robert Montagna is holding the whole of that pack away. 43 is still clear in the lead. 43 is coming round to take the checkered flag now. Off the final turn comes Sir Mark Skilton. Over the line he goes. There's the winner.
Sadly, we lost Steve Skidmore as well as the 93 world champion Norman Woolsey early on in that race. Confirmation then here of the final placings. Very clear cut at the front for the two marks. Then Ricky Hunn of Essex. Robert Montaigne of Diss was fourth, and it was Joe Tandy who was fifth. Meanwhile, down in the woods, quite a lot stirred. There's always something happening in stock car racing. While the ladies take a little light refreshment, there's a little light repairs for the gentlemen. A good mechanical brain and an ability to take positive action are among the requirements of the sport. But it isn't merely a divide between big bangers and big bucks. The class where basic principles of quality racing apply where maintenance is very simple and the restrictions rigidly enforced, is the 1300cc stock cars. Keith Hewan talked to a newcomer and an experienced driver in this class.
Indeed, 1300 stock cars, new formula to bring in the novices and new guys like yourself. It seems to have been very successful.
Yeah, it's been gone well. Yeah, gone from white, had a couple of 3 months, and picked up a few points, just went straight into the blues. Yeah, it's been going well, really.
I think you've been quite modest there, because actually your rise through the colours has been quite dramatic, hasn't it?
Well, I've had a bit of trouble on the way. Hit the fence a few times quite hard, but I just appear at every meeting.
I started a long time ago. This is my 16th season, one way or another. We've done the hot rods. I was fairly competitive in the hot rods, and then they started to get a bit expensive. And to be truthful, we spend very little. I mean, this is really a self-built car. The Carcraft guys actually put all the steel around it for us. And then my family, my two brothers, they do most of the stuff, and I just go out and do loads of overtime, pay for the bits. But the whole car, the engine and everything else, it stands us around £800, the whole lot, including the wheels and the tyres.
And the cost involved in this? Quite low?
I would say I hadn't actually had an engine built by someone, because I can't build engines. Cost me about £800, completely done.
Tyres, Malcolm, there seems to be a bit of a trick ruling here as well.
Well, to try and keep everybody even and give no fair advantage to any particular person, Speedwith have actually introduced a company that actually make the tyre for us. They're relatively cheap, they're about £23. Every car that runs in our formula runs the same tyre, and just to make sure, they're actually moulded with Speedwith stock cars on. So everybody runs the same, so that cuts down on the advantage to any one particular person. My theory on stock car racing is to get obviously from the back to the front. I try not to, if I come up behind the lower grade guys, because I haven't been racing so long, what we try and do is make enough space for us to get by without putting them too far offline, so they keep running in the race, get some experience. And obviously as they come further back through the ranks, like Steve's done, it's a bit more difficult to get by. You have to give them a slightly bigger push. And as long as that stays in, I mean, the cars are fairly relatively easy to repair. If the damage keeps down, it's not too bad. The idea really is to spin people out, give the crowd something to look at, and not so much damage. Then at the end of the day, because we get 3 races a night usually, wherever we're racing, you get as many cars out in the final, and after all, the crowd come in to pay, to watch, and be entertained, and that's what we like to try and do.
Well, the pace car taking them around on their warm-up lap for this first ever running of the Stock Cars British Championship. And when I say stock cars, I mean this new formula, 1300cc engine size stock cars. The formula is now only about a year old. We've so far had a national championship and an East Anglian championship. In 1992, they were won by Bruce Wilcox in the 500 car, who's out there today. And the national championship earlier this year went to Frank Tillo in the 56 car. So it'd be interesting to see maybe how either of those two fare. But this is the first actual running of the British Championship, and it's looking already as if it's going to be a little bit hectic. And with most of these contact formulas, there's a little bit of pushing and shoving and settling down in the early stages. 197 is the leader. 373 is second, and 53 and 102 and 9 and 54 is the way they go. That's the sort of problem, and as you can see, that's a major problem for 197 Pete Dodge, because he was our leader, and he is now well and truly out of this race. He's not going to go a lot further, and of course Peter Dodge is a former world champion in the junior mini stocks class and has now moved up to the stock cars. 373 is some way clear, about 30 yards ahead of the 53 car of Lyndon Limbury. And that big pile-up that we saw that took the early leader out happened rather like this. There's Peter Dodge just in behind 54. Now, was he pushed or did he jump? Let's have a little look. Ah, that's the culprit. Those two go across in front of him, a little clip, and he heads straight for the fence and crash bang wallop, and you've got 5 cars all out in one go. 416 has now moved up into second place. Mark Smith from Yarmouth. 309 is running in third place, Mark Chipling from Woking. So that's our 1, 2, 3. There's Mark Chipling. And there's 416. They're second and third, and the leader, oops, back end on 416, hung out a bit far, and he's left the door open. 309's going to go through. He's got the advantage of the inside as they now come to this bend. And he duly takes the advantage, as indeed he ought. And right behind those two is Malcolm Foskett. And you can see right in front of him, he's got the second and third place men, because 148 indeed at the moment is running fourth. And there we are, that's the battle we've just been watching. Mark Chipling, then 416, and then 148 is where we were watching from just now, as 148 in fact moves up on the inside of 416 and moves up one more place. A quick change of gear there as he brings it into this bend. Back marker moves right across in front of him. A little shunt might be required here to get him out the way. Yeah, that's a back marker. Wallop he goes. Meanwhile, he's getting a lot of attention from behind as well. A really hectic race, this one, Graham, but much more in the stock car tradition. Yes, and while they carry on hitting each other like that, there's every possibility for the leader to run away. But Mark Chipling is, in fact, moving up on the 373 car at the moment. And Mark Chipling used to specialise in picking up championships for the 2-litre stock cars. He could be on his way to another one here. And in fact, yes, exactly as you were speaking, 309 Mark Chipling has really done great things. 373 got himself in a bit of a mess there, went very wide. But it's 309 who is the clear leader now. And 373 has just gone. There's 373. That's our second place man going out into the safety fence with that 125 back marker. 309 is still there and still going well, but there's a car stuck right in the middle of the start and finish straight that is going to get in the way in a moment or two when the leaders come round. Here comes 309, and there's the car, the 297 car of Richard Carter is stuck right in the middle, and the red flag has gone out because the driver seems unable to get out. Maybe he's hurt. That's the cause of the stoppage, and because we're within the last 5 laps, in fact, there were 3 more laps to go. That will be the end of the race, and I'm sure that 309 Mark Chipling will be declared the winner.
And that was indeed the way this first British Championship finished, rather prematurely, with Mark Chipling of Woking, the new champion, ahead of Mark Smith of Yarmouth, Bruce Wilcox of Needham Market, and Frank Tillo of Bunwell. Still to come, some confrontations between the Superstox superstars and caravans we have known and loved and lost. Organised mayhem just around the corner after the break. Welcome back to Vauxhall Stadium, Ipswich. As you know, in Superstox, the new tyre regulations this year have caused some controversy. Soft compounds for the lower grade drivers, the yellow and white tops, hard compounds for the blue and red grade drivers to level up the racing. A move which has brought strong reactions on and off the track. One driver, Gary Lambert, took race action recently because he felt so strongly about the new restrictions.
2 races I tried my hardest. I actually finished ahead of the superstars in 1 race. Looked in the mirror and see the yellow tops catching the reds, you know, and I just couldn't believe it. So in the 3rd race, I just had enough, you know, and slowed down and said, well, this is stock car racing. You want to pass me, you're going to have to pass me, and just caused a little bit of commotion, really.
Gary Lambert from Lowestoft carrying the Bulldog paintwork and a similar attitude into this next race, where Jason Wright from Norwich, a yellow grade driver on the softer compounds, has been in excellent form recently. Another contender, number 612, Gary Sparks from Bury St Edmunds. He's the leader in the points total. Steve Gay from Camberley is another driver having a good season.
Well, there's 2-litre Ford Pinto engines under these bonnets, and they're just about to leap into action as we go for 30 laps to find the National Superstox Avon Tyres champion of champions. As they come round to complete the first lap, we've still got our white top who's on the front of the grid, Eddie Freeman from King's Lynn, who is in the lead as they all go pirouetting around. Here comes 255, red flag please. Well, here's the second attempt to get this race underway. The wreckage has been cleared, and because it all happened at the end of the first lap, of course, it's a complete restart right from the very beginning of the race, minus the casualties who are now parked out on the centre green. And once again, it's 255, Eddie Freeman from King's Lynn, who roars into the lead. Here's where it all happened last time, but well, they all in one piece this time. Here's the 1, 2, 3 together. Jason goes beautifully through on the inside. The white top driver suffering immediately at the hands of the higher grade drivers. Whoops, back end goes out too much, and whether he was put off, and indeed the 255 car went in as well. So that's 410 and 255 both out, leaving 62 Jason Wright well clear on his own now. So we've now got 62 Jason Wright is the leader, 32 Steve Gay is in second place, and the 09 car of Bill Smith from Northern Ireland is now third, and those three are some way ahead of the Dutch car, number 30 of Toon Schut. Well, Jason's got a bit of a flyer here. Do we think we're going to get a runaway victory again?
I think it's quite possible. He is a former mini-stock world champion, and he certainly can drive. He's got a nice clear road in front of him and not much to worry about. But that Dutchman, Toon Schut, running back in fourth place in the number 30 car, has been very quick, and I think he may well give them some trouble before the finish.
So there we are. 62 is the leader. 32 is in second place. And that is Steve Gay from Camberley. The main development at the moment is that number 30, Toon Schut, is now closing the gap, has gone through up into second and third place, and is now closing the gap on the second place man. So there we are, we've got 30 and 32. There's second and third together now, and the Dutchman is just about to put a bit of pressure, I'm sure, on Steve Gay. Remember, these are Superstox, this is a contact formula, and let's see how the Dutchman is going to cope with this. Are the Dutch a bit prone to be a bit heavy-handed on the bumper?
Not so much heavy-handed, but they're just not at the disadvantage in this class as they often are in the saloon car classes, because Superstock cars go the same way around the track the world over. And he has, in fact, just grabbed second place, and he has a free hand now to chase after the leader. It's just really a question of whether he may run out of time or not to catch Jason Wright. In his favour, however, Wright is just beginning to run into some back-marking traffic. It may hold him up a little bit, Nigel.
Right, 62 then is amongst a few back markers. Toon Schut in number 30 is now trying to get a bit of a move on to try and get up on terms with the leader. Here we come on the inside, or rather in the second car. You can see that there's 62, and closing right up behind him now is the number 30 car. And 30 on the inside. The other two are back markers. Now that's the pair we've got to concentrate on, because this is where the scrap is going to be. The Dutchman now trying to make it the first Dutch win of the weekend. They haven't had too much success so far, and I'm sure Toon Schut is very much aware of this. And he really feels, I think, he's got a chance of carrying this one off. And here he goes in now on the rear bumper, and in fact there's no resistance. 62 just gives in and goes right out wide. Perhaps it's a case his discretion is the better part of valour, maybe.
I don't know if that went through his mind or whether he just simply made a mistake. Perhaps he looked at Toon in his mirror for too long and just simply made an error going into the corner.
And here's how it happened. I was expecting the bumper to go in from 30 to 62, but 62 finishes up rather wide. The door is wide open, and the Dutchman just goes sailing through to take it up. So 30 is the leader. 3 more laps to go. The leader goes through. Now, the leader's coming up here behind the back marker number 5 car. I wonder if number 5 is going to get in his way at all. This black car, Gary Lambert, might feel that he needs to defend the honour of England and hold the Dutchman up. But let's see how the Dutchman copes with this. Well, a little tap on the bumper seems to be sufficient. Are we going to get a little bit of right hand down as he goes past? Are we going to try and hook him out? No, the Dutchman is through. The Dutchman is through without too much bother inside the last lap. Now, can the number 5 car get on the bumper? He had a go at him there. He really had a go at him, but it wasn't enough to push him out, and the Dutchman is free and is still running into the final turn. The number 5 car can't catch him, and the Dutchman comes over the line. Number 30, Toon Schut, is the winner. 62 comes home in second place, Jason Wright, and 32 is third, and that's Steve Gay.
But it was the most beautiful race of my life. When there was oil on the field, I wasn't slowing down on him. I was not coming closer. But when it dried up, I could make the gap closer. So.
And just towards the end there, Number 5, Gary Lambert, was looking to give you a little bit of a stick. I don't know if you could see what was happening there, but were you aware that he was trying to cause you some problems?
Yes, the last 5 laps I saw he was slowing down, so I was not so fast. I think maybe I can, make it, but he was still slowing down, so I have to pass through. I saw him slowing down.
Yeah, you did. Gary, handshakes and smiles all around there, but you were looking to put him off at the end, weren't you?
Not really. I think if I really tried, I could have really gone and cut the corner and had him out, but he's a good driver. Very, very good. And I don't know if the car's legal, but if it is, all credit to him. Yeah, really good.
You mean because of the tyres, he had the problems?
No, he's got the hard compound. I think it could be engine possibly, but, you know, they seem to think they're legal. I hope they are, because he's a very, very good driver.
No hard feelings, then?
No hard feelings at all.
So smiles and handshakes all round as the title goes to Holland. Jason Wright of Norwich was second, Steve Gay of Camberley third, and Bill Smith, another Irishman, fourth. And finally, the big one. Caravans and their paintwork often have a special place in the affections of the British public. You either love them or hate them. But it's very rare that you do this to them. Welcome to the Bangor Caravan Race.
Oh, those curtains want washing. Air conditioning in that one. He'll have a bit more air conditioning in a minute. You give him 5 minutes and he'll be well air conditioned. Well, hold on. Where's the control car in the middle of this lot? Oh, there's trouble already. And 617 has tried to park inside Chubby, and Chubby's caravan has completely folded, and he's decided to take a slight excursion into the safety fence, and that's the way to fold that caravan up. And there's a couple more have decided to roll over as well. The mayhem continues. Well, this is good stuff, Graham, isn't it?
It's very technical stuff, this.
Yeah, and I think the track is now totally blocked here with debris of one. There's a few trailers being towed around now. Caravans have disappeared totally. There's one beetling through the middle. That's the end of that. Oh, now that's getting back to basics. He's running now not on the wheels, but on the overturned base. Oh, there is a way through the middle of the caravan. There's a slight jackknife for 330's motor there. And just gone past the commentary box. There is this entire remains that is evaporating before our very eyes. Oh, now he's on board. He's actually now got on top of what's left of the caravan in front. He's saving fuel, I think, that's what it is. Meanwhile, he's trying to park inside his new all-weather mobile garage. And he's going for the sort of lightweight approach, the new folding caravan. If in doubt, drive right across it. Don't ask me who's leading, I haven't the faintest idea. And he's got, now 138 has definitely got a few visibility problems here. Now, there's a bit of overtaking going on down the inside through the smoke and the murk of the remains of the Mad Mouse. Now that one's lasted a remarkable amount of time, but the trailer is about to emerge from beneath it. Now I'm going to look at the lap sheets, but don't ask me what they mean. It says there's 4 laps gone, and this is supposed to be a 16-lap race. That is 88, who I can tell you is Alan Reid from Bretton. But I haven't the faintest idea if he's leading. Oh, he is leading. According to the lap sheets, he is leading. He's got a bit of wheel spin. Graham.
There is a car just been black flagged. I don't know if it's for accidentally driving on the track, maybe.
You're joking. 117 has got visibility problems yet again. It's because he's got somebody else's caravan draped over his bonnet. Who cares? He doesn't care where he's going anyway. And he's not going to go anywhere. No, he's not going to go anywhere. He's saving his tyres. But that's the end. Yes, there is talk of a restart. Line them up again. Put the caravans back together. Oh, that's helped a little. He's probably peering out that little crack at the bottom. He's got a bit of wheel tramp there. I think his suspension's gone. He's surveying the wreckage. He doesn't know which way to jump. 88's not giving up. He wants to get out of there. He wants to get back in the action. There's 96, Trevor Luff. He's not going back to Biggleswade in that lot. But you see, he's still got a caravan. Oh, and so has he. Oh, we spoke too soon. Now, that was a shame. Oh, what a pity. He had a caravan for a moment or two. I spoke too soon.
Wheels, for the best in motorsport, in association with Anglia Ford dealers.